Hey, what goes on here? Can't a brother-in-law drop in?
Sorry, Jim. Wait a minute, I'll close the door.
Oh, what's the idea of the barrage of locks and bolts? Dracula making his nightly rounds?
It's just that I'm on pins and needles.
Well, what for, Agnes? What's the trouble? Nothing wrong with Jerry.
Oh, no, he's fine.
Where is he? Hey, what's the trouble?
Jerry's out on these cases.
These cases?
Oh, this is a fine way to treat a brother-in-law. As soon as he steps in the house, he gets trouble thrown at him.
Now, look, Agnes, settle down. Suppose you start at the beginning. You sure there's nothing wrong with Jerry?
Jim, he hasn't slept decently or eaten a square meal in weeks.
Oh, when my brother doesn't eat, there's something wrong.
Jim, there have been 2 murders. A third tonight.
Oh, well, now I get it. I got off the train, walked down the main street. It was like a morgue.
Yes, everyone's terrified. People are afraid to go out. I worry so about Jerry.
Yeah? Why?
You know how he is, Jim. When he's working on a case, he never thinks about himself. He rushes in almost without thinking. Someday I'm afraid his courage will...
Yeah, I know what you mean. The old method.
Now, that's it. But, oh, Jim, I feel awful. We haven't seen you in months, and when you do drop in...
All right, let's forget now. Can you still do magic with a waffle baker? I listen much better on a full stomach.
Yeah, Jim, this guy's got the devil's luck and brain.
Yeah, but there must be some lead, Jerry. Something you can pick up.
Well, that's what we thought after the first murder. We hit a wall.
What about the second murder?
Same thing. Now this one tonight.
Yeah. So who was it?
Same as the other two. A girl. This time it was Mary Neville.
Oh, Jerry, no.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, Jerry. Are you sure the same person's doing all the killing?
Looks like it. Break in, kill, break in, kill.
That sounds like pattern murders.
What's that?
Pattern murders. This kind of a killer never varies. Every murder was committed the same way.
Exactly. Strangulation.
And the time between them, I mean, how long from one murder to the next?
Almost exactly 2 weeks to the day.
Look, this killer's following a set pattern. You've got about 2 weeks before he hits again, if he does. You can do a lot in 2 weeks.
With what? We've got nothing to work on.
Well, you can never tell. I could...
Well, what are you going to say?
Oh, I don't know. Jerry, I've got no business butting in.
Well, who says you are? If my own brother can't come to see me.
No, I don't mean my visit. I mean my help.
Help? What are you getting at?
Well, look, I spent 12 weeks in Washington.
Yeah, I know. The FBI school. Look, wait a minute. I've heard about fellas going down to that place. They all come back talking like professors of crime. Why, they're a pain to every cop on the force. I'd rather keep my popularity and learn the trick from Bill Howell.
Yeah, who's Bill Howell?
Well, he's been on the force 10 years. He's in the tradition. When there's a job, he goes into it head on. He doesn't handle a crook with tweezers and microscopes. He lets them have it. This is his case we're going on now, and he called me in because he likes me, and he thinks I can help.
Now, look, Jerry. I know I'm with the Brook City Police Force, and this is Midvale. But if what I've learned in Washington will help you, I'll be glad to stick around.
Okay. First thing tomorrow morning, we'll go to the Neville home. You see, Jim, just like I said, the killer's smart.
Yeah, but he'll slip sometime.
That's what we said 6 weeks ago. Oh, hiya, Bill. Jim, this is Bill Howell, best detective on the force. Bill, my brother Jim.
How are you, Bill?
Okay. I was on the carpet again this morning, Jerry. Uh-oh, babe. My ears are stinging. Look, we've got to get something. Anything. Yeah, you tell me where to find it.
Hey, Jerry, you sealed this room after the murder last night, didn't you?
Yeah. No one's been in or out since we left last night. What?
Oh, just asking. Now, let's get it straight. The murderer broke in this window.
Well, first he cut that screen so he could pry open the window latch.
Yeah, it's copper. The screen, it's copper.
Yeah.
He had to cut all around to get in.
That's nothing new. We saw that last night. Now, wait a minute, Bill. What are you driving at, Jim?
Well, this window's it's out of the way over here at this side of the house.
Where are you going?
Look, there are 3 other windows towards the front of the house. Much easier to get at. But this killer picks the one that's the hardest to get at.
Go ahead.
Why? The window he broke into is almost covered with shrubbery from the outside.
Yeah. What's on your mind, Jim?
Well, this murder was committed while it was dark. This window would be tough to find, to see in the dark. But he picked it. Passed up those other 3.
Sure, let's cancel them being seen from the street.
Yeah, that's all, Jim. Is it? I'll give you 10 to 1 that if there was no light in this window at night, you couldn't see it. But your murderer knew where and how to find it.
You thinking about an inside job, Jim?
I'm not thinking about anything until we ask the family some questions.
We have only one servant and maid. Surely you don't think that...
No, we don't. But was anyone in the house who might have looked it over, who might have seen that window was the most protected from the street?
I don't know. I can't be expected to remember something like that at a time like this.
Of course not. Thank you, Mrs. Neville.
Is that all you want?
Well, for now, yes.
What are you doing to find the man who killed my girl? What are you doing? Nothing, that's what, nothing. He killed 3 people already, and he'll do it again while you...
Look, you better get some rest, Mrs. Neville.
Sorry.
It's okay, Mrs. Neville. We know.
I'll be in my room if you want.
What are we doing? Well, what are we doing? Banging our heads against the wall. That's what we're doing. Joe think it was an inside job, Jim?
No, I didn't say that. I just thought that it might have been someone who knew that window was there.
Look, a dozen strangers come into a house in a month, Jim. Milkman, gasman, waterman, grocery delivery, dry cleaners, laundryman.
Yeah.
We can't check all of them. What are you doing?
Hey, did you see this?
What have you got?
The thread that was on the floor.
Let me see it. Well, what about it?
Oh, was it here when you looked last night?
I didn't see it. It would be easy to overlook against the carpet.
Sure, but maybe it's just something you've been waiting for.
A thread, not even an inch long. It could have come from anything.
I know that. Oh, do you want it?
If you're thinking it might have come from the killer's coat, no dice.
Why?
We examined the cut edges of the screen with a magnifying glass, thinking maybe he might have caught his coat, but he didn't. He came through clean as a whistle.
Well, let me have this thread, will you?
What are you going to do with it?
I'd like to send it down to Washington.
Washington?
Yeah, to the FBI lab there.
And they'll tell us what?
All about it. The FBI lab in Washington gives every police force in the country the best laboratory of its kind in the world. Take advantage of it, Jerry. Bill. You're in a blind alley now. This thread might tell you something. What can you lose?
But, Jim, there are 11,000 people in this town who might own a brown tweed coat well worn. Why, that report from the FBI lab doesn't help.
Oh, you didn't read all of it. They found traces of sodium thiosulfate on the thread.
What's that?
Well, they sent along a list of uses for the chemical. Look at these last 3 I checked.
What's the matter with the rest of the list? There's a flock of uses.
No, too unlikely. But it's used for paper bleaching. Anybody in Midvale manufacture paper?
No. On the next ink manufacturer. No dice there.
The third is photography.
Photography.
Yeah, sodium thiosulfate is commonly called hypo. Used in photography to fix prints and negatives after development.
Photography. Photographer. Hey, Jim, maybe your Jimmy is right. A photographer would be able to get into a house. He'd be there a long time. Plenty of time to case the place.
I suggest we go back to the Neville home and ask a few questions.
No, there's no one here who knows anything about photography. What's that got to do with my marriage?
Well, it's just a check, Mrs. Neville. Now, did Mary have any recent photographs made?
Photographs? Why, yes.
Who took it?
I don't know. I was away. When I came back, Mary had it already made. Gave it to me for my birthday.
Is that it on the piano?
Yes, that's it.
And you don't know the photographer's name?
No.
And the only one who could tell us would be Mary.
Mrs. Neville, we're going to take that photograph. We'll return it later.
Dead end again. The guy didn't even sign it. No name.
What kind of a photographer doesn't sign his name?
You got me?
Jerry, on a long chain. Let's question the families of those other girls.
No, I don't remember who it was. But he did come to the house and take my sister's picture.
And shortly after, your sister was killed.
Yes, that's right.
Now, think hard, please. What was his name?
I can't remember. Oh, please, how was I to know it would be important?
Well, you couldn't know. But we'd like to take that photograph.
Yes, there was a photographer who took Anne's picture just before. The first.
What was his name? Do you remember?
I
Please, think hard, Mrs. Cook.
I think it was Benson. Yes, that was it, Joseph Benson.
How do you know?
Because I was going to make out a check, but he wanted cash.
Jim, it looks like we're on the right track. 11 photographers in the phone book and not one named Benson. Well, Mrs. Cook was wrong.
Or maybe not, Jerry. It doesn't have to be his right name.
Maybe he's not even a real photographer. Just use that excuse to get into the houses and look them over.
I don't think so. Look at it this way. To take those photos, and they're good, he'd have to have equipment. Camera, lights, darkroom. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, sure. Okay, let's pay a visit to these 11 photographers one by one.
No, don't do that.
Are you crazy, Jim? The one lead we've got, the first in 6 weeks, and you want to stop dead on it.
No, it's not that.
Listen, you said these were pattern murders. Spaced 2 weeks apart. All right. It's been 6 days, almost a week, since Mary Neville was killed. That gives us about 8 days to nail the murder before he gets somebody else. 8 short days.
Yeah, but if you ask questions now, the one we're after among those 11 photographers will get suspicious. He's clever, Jerry. So clever that he didn't leave a clue until we found his thread. Give him one chance to suspect that we've got a lead on him, and he'll cover up fast.
Then what's the answer?
Well, I'm going to send these 3 photographs to the FBI lab in Washington. Have them checked for fingerprints and a few other things.
But that'll take time, Jerry.
Just a couple of days, and we've got 8. Let's hope we learn something. Something that'll put the finger on that killer before those 8 days are up.
With only a few days left to catch a vicious murderer before he strikes again, Jim Davenport and his brother Jerry have used the facilities of the FBI laboratory. Jim, trained at the FBI school in Washington, tells Jerry the results of sending 3 photographs to the lab.
Each one of these 3 photographs was printed on the same kind of paper.
So, couldn't a lot of photographers use the same kind?
Well, sure, but we've got 3 coincidences, Jerry. First, a photographer entered the 3 houses where the 3 girls were killed. Second, he left his photograph unsigned. Third, the same kind of paper was used to print each one. That's too much to ask, even of a long arm of chance.
Yeah, sure it is. All right. Here's the list of the 11 photographers in Midvale. Now, which one do we want? And we've got only 3 days to jump him before he goes on the loose again.
We'll get a list of photographic supply houses. We'll ask them questions.
Well, let's see. We supply all the shops with that paper.
Do you ever supply directly to photographers?
Very seldom. We're wholesale. Photography usually gets a discount at the shops he deals with.
All right, let's have a list of the shops you supplied in the last 3 or 4 months.
Right here. There are only 4. The Acme Camera Shop, the Iris, Miller's Photo and Hobby Shop, and the Grand Central Camera Store. Address is right there.
Well, yes, we sell quite a bit of it. It's popular.
Well, you sold a large quantity of this paper to a photographer recently?
Oh, I can check.
Please do.
As a matter of fact, I think I remember selling a gross about 2 months ago.
To one photographer?
Yes, I think so. He showed me his business card, and I gave him the regular trade discount on the gross of paper.
Have you got his name there?
Yes, and his studio address. You see, Gilbert Carson, 515 Laurel Way. Well, that's just around the corner.
Oh, it's a nice studio you've got here, Mr. Carson.
Yes, I'm quite pleased with it. Can I help you, Mr.
Davenport.
Davenport?
The name sound familiar?
Oh, I don't think so.
Well, you do very nice work.
Thank you.
Hey. Isn't that a photo of the Neville girl?
Oh, yes, it is. I took her picture just about a week before the horrible tragedy. Poor girl. Lovely, too.
About a week before?
Yes. When I read about the terrible tragedy, I could hardly believe it.
I imagine it was a shock.
Dreadful. But you came to see me about...
some work I want done. I'm not quite sure what I want.
Perhaps you'd like to see some samples of my work. I mean, other than these hanging in here.
Yes, I would very much.
Well, if you'll step into the display room...
I'll just bring a couple in here. I'd like to look at these color prints.
Oh, certainly. I won't be a moment.
No hurry, Mr. Carson. No hurry. Jerry admitted he took Mary Neville's picture, even had it printed in his studio.
Well, that doesn't sound like a guilty man to me.
Jerry, the man we're after is a psychopathic killer. He'd feed his insane ego on news of his crimes. He'd want things around him to remind himself of his imagined superiority. Having Mary Neville's photo around might be...
And, hey. Fingerprints on that glass you snitched from Carson's studio match those on the photos you sent to the FBI lab.
We got him. Not yet.
Huh? What more do you want? Now we can prove he was in all three houses where the murders were committed. Even gave a phony name on one job.
Granted, but evidence like that wouldn't stand up 5 minutes in court. The smart defense lawyer could bust that wide open.
Let's call him down and ask him a few questions.
I wouldn't, sir. Simply because a man took photos of the three girls, there's no reason to believe he killed them.
Look, suppose we put a tail on him. We got 2.5 days before he's liable to go on another rampage.
Okay, put a tail on him, have him watched.
What if he gets wise?
Well, then you've lost him. You can't prove anything now. Let him get wise and he'll lie doggo. Maybe even leave town.
And start his killing someplace else. Oh, we're up another tree.
Oh, look, Jerry. Bill, I sent something else to Washington.
Huh? What?
A knife I found in his studio.
Knife? But the murders weren't committed with a knife.
I know, but the copper screen in the Neville home was cut with a knife or something like it.
So?
If there's even a minute trace of copper on Carson's knife, the FBI lab will find it.
And that'll be it.
Oh, one more thing. The newspapers are yelling for something. Give it to him.
What?
Tell him you've got a lead.
You mean tip our hand, let Carson know? Are you crazy?
No. Tell the papers about the thread from a wool jacket. A brown coat.
I don't get it.
If Carson's our man, he may try to get rid of that coat.
Yeah.
But put a tail on it. If he leaves his studio apartment with a package, nail it.
Sure. He left his studio apartment a dozen times.
And no package.
No. And the manager of the building swears nothing like a coat was burned in the incinerator.
Yeah, but if Carson's our man, he must have read the papers. He must know about that thread. He tried to get rid of that coat.
Yeah, but he didn't. There was an eye on him every minute of the day and night. I'm telling you, the guy didn't take it out. All he should have done is get in his place while he was out and pick up the coat ourselves.
Well, that wouldn't have meant a thing, Jerry. Don't you see? He'd admit it was his coat. We could prove the thread came from it, but so what? He admits having been in the Neville house.
Oh, but no thread could lay around for 4 weeks.
Look, one of the things I learned at FBI school was that a case wants to be tight. So tight that there's no loophole.
Sure, but Carson didn't try to get rid of the coat. We gave him 2 days.
Well, that could mean he was wise. Spotted your man.
And that could mean he'll lay off. Maybe leave town. Jim, we got to stop that. If we ever lose him, Lord knows how many more he'll kill. He'll be...
Wait a minute. Jerry. Holy mackerel.
What's the matter?
Something you said at the Neville home. Jerry, you said dozens of people come into a house in a month.
Yeah, what about it?
Gas men, laundrymen, dry cleaners.
Dry cleaners! Pick up and delivery.
Carson could have had the dry cleaner pick it up. Oh, what dumbbells we are. Find out what cleaners service that neighborhood.
Here it is. My driver picked it up.
You're sure that's the coat?
There's the tag, Hubert Carson.
Oh, another dead end. This coat's not brown, it's blue.
Oh, well, it was brown.
Brown? Look now. Was this coat brown when it came in?
Well, yes.
Jerry, our newspaper trick worked. He had his coat dyed. Come on, let's get Carson. Take it easy, Jerry.
Easy? What for? You said we've got all we need.
Sure, but remember, Carson's killed 3 times. One more won't matter to him.
Don't worry. The FBI lab gave us the case, but I'll take over from here on.
Make him step out in the hall. Don't go in.
Look, I picked up 100 guys.
Yes?
Carson, you're under arrest.
Arrest?
Don't argue. Get dressed and come on.
But what's this all about?
You know. Want me to come in and ask you?
Well, do you mind if I get my coat?
No,
wait a minute. Stand where you are, Carson.
What's the matter?
There's this. There's a gun in his coat pocket.
And why not?
With all these crimes...
David.
Very well. Now, may I have my hat? Or do you think I have a gun in there?
Go ahead, Carson. Look out, Jerry! Oh. Hey, he did have a gun in that hat.
You see, Jerry, it would have been much better if he'd been made to step out in the hall.
You two are pretty smart. Yeah, and we're getting smarter. Get moving, Carson. Get out of here.
Well, I've got him covered, Jerry. What's the rush?
Brother, I'm in a hurry. With all these things I learned about the FBI on this case, and now that I find myself still alive, I'm going to pay a visit to dear old Washington. Come on, Carson. You're making me late for school.
So Hubert Carson was tried and convicted. My brother Jerry's in FBI school now. But when his 12 weeks are over, he'll go back to Midvale and teach the others on the force. He'll know, like every other police officer, that the FBI laboratory stands ready at all times to aid local law enforcement by brilliant scientific methods. And the result, a more and more effective fight against crime by men equipped with the best training America has to offer. The best in the world.